Good morning from Ridgehaven Homestead. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Lori and I'm telling you today about something way different, not homestead related at all, but I'm putting it out there for accountability. I decided 4 days ago to participate in the 75 Hard Challenge. If you look at me, I'm no bodybuilder, I'm no fitness guru, and I lean more toward the couch potato end of things, although I do like to take a walk. I'm not really a couch potato, but I do have a hard time staying consistent with working out. Enjoy walking, and I do a lot around our property, but all of a sudden on Thursday, I was driving along and I cannot explain to you why. Like, I don't have this wonderful reason, like this is the reason and this is what I'm hoping to accomplish, but it just hit me. I want to do this. This is something I need to do for myself. But I will tell you 100% honesty that I'm kind of doing this alone. I was a little surprised, but not terribly, to find out that really I don't have any support in my family. Not that they're against me, but I heard a lot of naysaying opinions. Too much water, that's too much exercise, that's crazy. Basically, I'm not going to be able to do it, and well, all I can do is try, right? So I'll tell you the rules of the 75 Hard, and just let's get this out of the way. 75 Hard, it's not about becoming, whatever you want to call it, ripped, although a lot of people do it for that reason. The author of the challenge is very clear on it. He said, this is not a fitness challenge so much as a mental challenge. It's something to accomplish. It's an obstacle to conquer. And once you do it, you will always be able to look back on something that you have stuck to, you've accomplished. And so that really appeals to me because I have a lot of areas where I do make excuses, plenty of areas. We work hard at a lot of things, but there's areas that are just not very enjoyable to me. Honestly, working out is one of those areas. I don't really like it. I like the effects, but I have become pretty soft. And next year I turn 50, and I thought, well, you know what? Now is a good time. If I don't do it now, I probably never will. If I don't choose something to be accountable to for myself, I have to be accountable to myself and nobody else, then I probably won't do it. So that's my reason for doing it. I just want something that I can say, I did this, I conquered it, and I will only be able to do this with God's help, because I'll tell you about that as we go here. But let me go over the 5 rules. 75 Hard Challenge. Okay, there's only 5 rules, and on the surface it seems fairly simple. Rule number 1 is choose a diet that works for your goals and stick to it. Absolutely no cheating. There's no cheat days. There's no, oops, I gave in to this craving and so I can keep going. If you give in any way in any of these areas, you have to start at day 1 again. And let me be clear, it is 75 consecutive days of doing these challenges. So pick a diet. It needs to be clean. It needs to be tailored to your needs. They don't prescribe the diet because everyone's needs are different. And so the diet that I chose, this is one area where I wasn't really hard on myself because I already follow a plant-based diet. I would like to say that I follow a whole foods plant-based diet, but the last few years I've gotten way more lax on what we bring home just because of convenience. We've been living in our camper and we had limited space. So we reached more towards the convenience things, and we're still building, and so you don't always want to just cook from scratch, yada yada. But that my goal for myself is So the whole food plant-based diet, and I am striving to include more fruits and vegetables fresh with every meal. We've got garden things. We have no excuses on that. So yes, and this is apple season, so I'm incorporating lots of apples, but this is just some truth in advertising. We are going to be coming up on the holiday season. This challenge for me will take me through, I believe, to December 18. So that's right before Christmas, and it goes through Thanksgiving. And so I'm not giving myself a way out, but I am giving myself honesty and saying I am sticking to things that are homemade. And so if we make a Whole Foods pie, if we're using clean ingredients, I am keeping that in my diet. And I know that some people might say, well, that's cheating because you're actually eating some things that may be sweet. Well, I'm giving myself honesty. I know my tendencies, and if I limit myself too much, it's going to push me the other way. When I was actually a teenager, I had an eating disorder, and so I know for myself that I can't be super strict on myself, but I'm not going to make excuses. So there's no junk food, there's no grabbing convenience food for me, and it's gonna be home cooked. If I do eat out, which we rarely do, it will be whole food plant-based. And so I'm excited. I'm already incorporating more apples and apple dip and salads. So that's already a good thing. Okay, that's rule number one, food, the diet, you stick with it. Number two is not even on the table for me. Absolutely no alcohol at all. Not once, not during social occasions, but I don't drink it all anyway. So it's not a big deal for me. And also no sodas, nothing sugary, no junk food. Basically, that's what it is. Okay, so those are the first two. The number three is a little bit of a challenge. Actually, it's a way of a challenge for me. Water. I'm carrying my water with me because I'm trying to incorporate more. And so the rule is 1 gallon of water every day. No excuses. And so that's actually an area I got a lot of flack from my family. They said that's not healthy. You're gonna get a electrolyte imbalance. And so I'm gonna be very careful about that. 1 gallon, pardon me while I take a drink. Okay, so this is 1 quart. I fill this up twice, so that's half of my requirements. I drink 1 of these when I wake up in the morning while I'm exercising. And I try to do an exercise routine right off the bat as soon as I get up. And so I've never been able to drink very much water. I've never pushed myself to do it, never made myself. I would drink a pint of water tops any given time in my life. I've never, my husband gets up and he drinks a quart of water. That's never been me. It just fills up my stomach too much and I don't like it. Well, no more whining. I fill this up. I drink about half of it. I go out and work out a little bit on the trampoline. And then once I'm working out, I'm starting to build up a little bit of thirst. And so I drink some more. And by the time I'm done with that exercise routine, I've drunk it all before breakfast. So then I fill it up again and work on it through the morning, and then I fill up 4 more pint jars, and I just keep them on top of our Berkey water filter, and I work on those through the day, and I try to get them before bedtime because I have come up and I'm like, oh my goodness, I've got about an hour and a half till bedtime, and I have 2 more pints to drink, and that's a lot to do, to chug down. So, whew. Number 4 is, just lost it. Oh, exercise. Okay, exercise, and I'm supposed to be walking, and I don't do 2 things at once very well. So I'm supposed to be finishing 20 minutes of my morning routine because I didn't get it finished before breakfast and we had to come in for worship. 2 45-minute sessions of exercise or workouts. Okay, so that is hard because I make a lot of reasons why I don't get up and work out, most of them because I'm tired and I don't like to. I don't like to get out of bed. I don't like to stop what I'm doing and during the middle of the day. It seems like a waste of time, yada yada. I have lots of excuses, but 2 exercise periods per day. and they have to be 45 minutes at least, and one of them has to be done outside. It doesn't matter the weather. Of course, you have to be wise and take into account your safety. Don't go out in a hurricane or a tornado. So one can be inside and one can be outside. And right now I'm trying to do all of mine outside, because why not? We've got beautiful weather and we've got changing colors. It's a gorgeous time to be outside. I love being outside. I also like walking down at our road, and I have been instructed by certain people never to go down to the road anymore because of something that happened the other day. And if you're curious what happened, then you can look at my blog, ridgehavenhomestead.com, and read the post called Meeting the Neighbor. 2 sessions of exercise. They cannot be back to back. They have to be separate times of day so that you are actually gaining the discipline of making yourself get up and go out. And so I've been using the mini trampoline. I've been using the big trampoline, trying to jump rope. I'm not doing very good at that. I'm like about as coordinated as a pregnant pole vaulter, as my husband would say, and that's not very coordinated. I'm trying to do a little bit of strength training, which is really new to me, and lots of stretching. That's my plan so far. I may actually work up the nerve one of these times to tag along with my boys to the gym. They go every day. I am so proud of them, and they are getting so strong. My boys, who have always been lean because of just our build, they are getting muscular and fit and strong, and it's amazing. So I know that anyone can do it, even somebody in our family, so no more excuses. Okay, the last requirement of the 75 Hard Challenge is taking a picture. You have to take a progress picture every day. So you don't have to post it online, you don't have to show anybody, but it's for you to see the progression of face, body, everything. And so there is an app that I downloaded. It was like $6 to download, and it has a checklist, and you cannot move on to the next day until you've checked off everything on that day. And it actually helps me to visualize everything I need to do. Oh no, there's another challenge. I forgot. There's one more thing. I'm doing progress pictures. I don't know if I'm gonna post them. I'm not one to just kind of parade around. Okay, the last requirement is reading. You have to read 10 pages every day of a nonfiction book. It cannot be an audio book. It cannot be a Kindle book. Bummer, because I like reading Kindle books. It has to be a paper book. It has to be regular size. It can't be like a poem or something, a coloring book. You can't make excuses. If you do that, then you're just cheating yourself. So 10 pages of nonfiction, and it is required to be in the realm of self-help. And so for some of that, I read my Bible. 10 pages in the Bible is way more than 10 pages in another book, because the print's usually pretty small. So I'll do a couple pages in the Bible, a couple pages in books that I've had sitting on my shelf and I never get around to looking at. Okay, so the breakdown so far, and I'll just be honest, I'm on the homestead, we're building, we've got a lot of life happening, and I just jumped in. I figured if I don't do it now, I will never do it. On day 4, and today I'm feeling sort of in the middle of good and bad. I started out with my exercise routine on the trampoline, on the rebounder. And so the last 2 days, I have felt kind of awful. I have felt almost like flu-like symptoms, just feeling like I'm coming down with something, and just general malaise and not that great. Then I remembered that when I was listening to a talk on the rebounder by Walt Cross recently, that he said that that is a normal phenomenon when you start with the rebounder, because it is doing so much for your lymphatic system that your liver basically is overwhelmed with all the toxins that are getting dumped from your lymph, and so it cannot keep up. And so it's a major detox that's going on, and I feel like that's probably the case. With all the water that I'm drinking, I mean, a gallon is way more than I ever drink. Plus exercising is, yeah, I think I'm going through a detox, and I've never really done that. I'm not one who likes fasting. I don't do that well. And so, yeah, not feeling that good, but I'm just keeping pressing on anyway. And the first 2 days, the very first 2 days were really, really awful. I don't think it was because of the exercise. I don't even think it has anything to do with the 75 hard. It's something to do with getting old, and I had a hip, my right hip was like completely locked up. My sciatica was really, really, really painful, and I was having pain wrapping around my hip into my right groin, and it was just like, that was the only focus of my day, is just what can I do to try to pop my muscles, to get my hip back into where it's not all locked up. And so I was doing a lot of stretching, and I don't know if I might have exacerbated it from that, but wow, it was so bad. And I rarely take medicine, ever. I was taking lots of turmeric because that is a natural anti-inflammatory. I was drinking the golden milk, all the things that I usually do that work, and nothing was working. When I would lay down in bed, it would be throbbing. When I would sit down, it would be throbbing. It was just miserable. Sitting down was really hard, and so I did a lot more standing up. So I broke down and started taking some Motrin for the anti-inflammatory and the pain relieving properties. And even that barely took the edge off of it. Greg gave me a deep massage on Saturday night, and just trying to work it out, it didn't seem like that helped right away. And yesterday, I was still really, really painful. I got up and I was on the trampoline in that early morning, and I just was taking it easy. I was kind of like doing a soft routine and a lot of stretching still, and just trying to baby it. Sometime during the day yesterday, I noticed, sometime in the afternoon, I noticed that my hip was no longer throbbing, and that tightness in my groin, honestly, it felt like when I went into back labor with Adam, and it was just like this constant cramping and into the groin. That's what it felt like, just constant. And yeah, it felt like a mini labor pains. It wasn't very fun. Sometime yesterday, I noticed that I was not having the throbbing, and this morning, even though I feel a little something in my hip, it's way freer than it was, and so I count that as a victory. Of course, I've got the flu-like symptoms today, so it's like you just can't win, but you just have to keep pressing on, and that's what I just decided. I'm just gonna have to keep doing it, because what the author, I think his name is Andy Friselli, don't quote me on that. He said there's never going to be a convenient time. There's going to always be a time when you're running into really hot weather, really cold weather, rainy weather, wherever you are. And so you just start. Whenever you're convicted, you just start. And I have been kind of inspired. I've been looking at a couple of accounts on Instagram, and there's this little boy from India. He's like 10 years old, even if he's 10 years old. And it shows him out there, he's running, he's working out, and he is just plugging away, doing his 75 hard. And I was like, you know what, he's a trooper. So that gave me some inspiration. Okay, so that's where I am so far. I'm on day 4. So far, I'm actually enjoying the working out. I don't mind that. If my hip would cooperate, it would be a lot nicer, but you know how that goes. So I'm a mom on a homestead. We're off grid. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. So I could use that as my excuse, but I'm not going to. Here's a little bit. She's gonna go along with me. I'm gonna find ways to make it work. And I don't know if there's anything that more to tell you. Just, I realized that nobody has to do it with me. I can do it. This is something I can choose and do myself. It's for myself, and I believe that God will help me. Yeah. On the homestead, there's little nuances. On Friday, I posted a video from Friday where, you know, I was starting out with all these things, being all motivated and everything, and then my hip locked up, and then the water was out, and then, you know, all these things crashing down where, you know, they seemed like big issues at the time. So, okay, I will keep you posted. I'm just letting you know I'm putting it out there because it may be an inspiration to somebody else, and it's accountability for me. Now I've told you, and so now I need to stick with it. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be getting into cold. We're at 40 something degrees right now. I think we were at 39 last night. We're making fires on the homestead. It's a time, I think actually it's a perfect time. I can't think of a better time that I would rather be outside exercising. So for that, I'm excited. Pretty soon our family is gonna go with our church. We're gonna do the Creeper Trail, and that is 17 miles down gorgeous countryside. So that'll be, you know, a good workout. So tell me, have you done the 75 hard? Have you heard of the 75 hard? Do you think I'm crazy too? What do you think? Have you done it? What do you think about it? Do you think it's too hard? Do you think it's impossible? I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is Lori from Ridgehaven Homestead. I'd love it if you'd subscribe, follow this journey. Yeah, thanks for watching.